republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'll now call to order September 18th special meeting. There's no gavel, so there's no gavel. Dr. Legutko, I'm going to pass the floor to you. The chair stayed up. I got it. All right, Dr. Legutko, I'll tell them all to be quiet.
Thank you. Can you hear me without this right in my face?
No.
No, you can't.
No.
I need it?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I'll step back. Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Mr. Superintendent, board members. Thank you for being here. Today's meeting is primarily a formality. We are going to go through a small version or a simplified version of what I presented to you on August 1st. August 1st, I presented the tentative budget. This is pretty much the final, which will identify the changes that happened to the overall budget, but most importantly, you will be approving the millage rate that has been set by the Clay County School District. So with that, we shall begin. Dave? No, never mind. Okay, never mind. Okay, this slide represents our millage rate. Again, our tentative millage, our required local effort is 4.190. We'll raise about, proposed dollars to be raised, it's about $46 million. The basic discretionary, 0.748, 8.3 million, and our capital outlay, the 1.5 mil, which is the most that we can set at this point, will generate about 16.7 mil. In the slide there, of course, I've got what 1 mil will generate in Clay County. It's about $11 million. And of course, by law, by statutory requirements, the Department of Education requires us to only budget 96% of that revenue. So that is the 10.7 million of the 1 mil that we are required to budget. Again, our total millage is about 6.438. It will generate about $71.7 million. Last year, of course, our millage was 6.762, which is a decrease of a 0.324. The reduction of, this is a reduction to this year's millage. It's, the reduction is due to the decrease in the RLE required by our state. We are levying the required allowable millage for the district in order for us to participate and maintain the district portion of the FEFP. And as I go along in the slides, you will see that the overall budget in the state's side of it, you'll notice there's about over $200 million that we generate from the FEFP. The required local effort is about 50, general fund side is about a little over 50 million. So in order for us to participate in the FEFP to generate over 200,000, we as a local district have to generate at least that much in order to participate. In order for us, as part of the law, you can levy up to at least 10 mills. But in order to generate that up to that maximum 10 mil, you've got to have a voters referendum in order to go above what the state is asking us to generate. So anything above this, you've got to go out to the voters for any additional millage. Okay, again, I've got this slide you've seen. It's a familiar slide. It talks about our rollback rate. The 0.47 is from the original presentation. We had a rollback rate of a negative 0.47. What that means, the 0.47 decrease is the rollback rate that reflects a decrease in our 17-18 millage rates. It's compared to our prior year. I don't have a prior year, I'm sorry. Since this was a decrease, if you'll notice my advertisement that I did have in the newspaper, it was just a simple budget hearing. It was not an increase to our taxes. And that is the reason why we did not have an increase to our taxes. It's because we had a negative rollback rate of 0.47, which means our taxes decreased this year. And that is as a requirement of the required local effort, which was set by the state. Okay. That's all I needed to say about our millage rate. Here, I'm going to go into the actual budget. This is a summarized version that was similar to what was advertised in the newspaper. We went from 386, 389, 412 budget to a 393,437,564. And in the next slide, I'll show you the differences between what happened from when we did our tentative budget to our final budget. Okay? Okay. Now, this is a very important slide because it really explains at a high level what really happened from our tentative budget to our final budget. In general fund, we went from $297,072,373 to our final of $297,569,771. And under there, you'll see what made up that difference. We had an FEFP adjustment. Remember, when I brought the tentative budget, there were still changes happening from the state level. They were certifying our millage rates. They were certifying our second calculations. They were doing a lot of changes, modification to the revenue. So with that, of course, our general fund had an adjustment of about $300,000. There were some local grants that came in. SEDNET is one of them. We had a code enforcement grant that came in. A lot of local dollars that were not represented in the tentative. So that was the change of about, what, 400 and something thousand with the general fund increase. The next one was the special revenue. Special revenue represents food service and our federal grants, such as IDEA, Title I, Title II, all of those special grants. And again, it was a timing as far as when we would receive our final numbers as far as an allocation. It's not the actual, but it's an allocation. Or a budgeted number. So in the federal grants, it went up by $6 million. What represent the $6 million? Again, Perkins, we had about $270,000 increase there that we needed to recognize in the budget. IDEA, about $260,000. It was the pre-K part of the IDEA funding that came in that we needed to recognize it in our budget. SEDNET, a federal portion of SEDNET was about $150,000. Title I, $5 million. In our original budget, we did not include Title I because we did not have those numbers, or the application was not complete. So now we are recognizing those numbers, and that's the $6 million. Debt service, it was a slight increase, $15,000. It's our CONDS, capital outlay and debt service payments. That is a book entry that comes from the state. It's the state that bonds certain revenue that we generate. And then, of course, capital projects went from 51.7 to 52.2. There was a change in our PICO allocation. It went down about $300,000. And then our CONDS went up by about $800,000, netting about $500,000 difference in the change. Again, it's revenue coming in, adjustments to different revenue sources. The capital projects, these changes were made not only in my final budget document, but it was also made in the capital outlay plan, the 5-year plan. So it is, you know, it matches both. So, again, you'll see the initial budget was about I'm not going to say the whole number, but it's about $386 million. There was a $7 million increase overall, the total budget. And our final budget, as of today, we're approving would be $393,437,564. The next slide, of course, you're familiar with it. I am still projecting that we, again, the unaudited fund balance will be about 4.27 unreserved, and then the projected will be about 4.5%, 4.58%. And that's it. This comes to my close of my presentation. The next steps are, of course, to open and close the floor for a public hearing, complete the adoption process. Thank you. Any questions?
Anybody have a question? No. Thank you, Dr. Olgutko.
Thank you very much.
That was probably the quickest you've ever been.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, at this time, I will open the public hearing for any public comment on the 2017-18 budget and millage. Is there anybody that would like to speak to this item? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. I'll bring it back to the board. Everybody has a copy of this, and we'll go through. Mrs. Stoddard, would you like to start? The first one is the adopt the 2017-18 required local effort mill levy.
I move that the Clay County School Board adopt the 2017-2018 final proposed required local effort mill levy of 4.190 with a proposed amount to be raised of $46,715,185. The RLE millage includes basic RLE of 4.185 and a prior period adjustment millage of .005.
Second.
I have a motion by Mrs. Stoddard, a second by Ms. Condon. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Motion for the budget agenda item 4, which is the adopt the 2017-18 basic discretionary operating mill levy. I'll entertain a motion.
Are we voting
We gotta
electronically?
vote.
Oh,
Gotta vote
forgot all
first.
about
Give us a
that.
second.
Sorry. All right.
Okay, I move that the Clay County School Board adopt the 2017-2018 final proposed base discretionary millage of .748 with a proposed amount to be raised of $8,339,608.
I second it.
I have a motion by Ms. Condon, a second by Ms. Bola. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Our next item is motion for budget item agenda 5, which is the adoption of the 2017-18 local capital improvement fund mill levy. I'll entertain a motion.
I move that the Clay County School Board adopt the 2017-2018 final proposed capital outlay millage of 1.500 with a proposed amount to be raised of $16,723,813.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Ms. Bola, a second by Ms. Gilhousen. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Our next item is to adopt the 2017-18 total mill levy. I'll entertain a motion.
I move that the Clay County School Board adopt the 17-18 final proposed total millage, which will equal 6.4380, with a total amount to be raised of $71,778,606. The total mill rate to be levied is below the rollback rate. It is a decrease in the rollback rate of 0.47%.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Gilhousen, a second by Ms. Stoddard. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Our next item is to adopt the final 2017-18 through 2020-21 Educational Facilities Plan. I'll entertain a motion.
I move that the Clay County School Board approve the final 2017-2018 to 2020 through 2021 5-year educational facilities plan.
Second.
I have a motion by Mrs. Studdard, a second by Ms. Condon. Any discussion?
Were there changes to that? We didn't have an updated presentation, so I wasn't sure.
Dr. Kemp?
We work with, we work with Business Affairs to make some changes. The changes were the difference in the local capital improvement fund, the increase in that she mentioned in the presentation, as well as there was an increase in debt service. So we made those adjustments internally with the projects as well. So the project numbers that were presented to you before are still intact.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right. I had a motion by Mrs. Studdard, a second by Ms. Condon. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Our next item is to adopt the final budget, all funds for the 2017-18 school year. I'll entertain a motion.
See if I can do this without giving Ms. Paiva another $1 billion. I move that the Clay County School Board adopt the final proposed budget for the 2017-2018 school year as follows. General operating in the amount of $297,569,771. Special revenue budget in the amount of $37,262,509. Debt service budget in the amount of $6,340,377. Capital outlay budget in the amount of $52,264,907 for a total final budget of $393,437,564.
Second.
Good job. I have a motion by Ms. Condon, a second by Ms. Bola. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Our next item is to adopt the Resolution 18-05, Florida Department of Education Resolution determining revenues and millage levied.
I move that the Clay County School Board approve Resolution Number 18-05, determining the 2017-2018 final proposed revenues and millages levied for fiscal year 2017-2018.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Ms. Bola, second by Ms. Gilhousen. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. I guess I'll read the motion into the minutes. Resolution determining revenues and millage levied. Resolution of the District School Board of Clay County, Florida, determining the amount of revenues to be produced and the millage to be levied for the general fund and for the district local capital improvement fund and for the district debt service fund for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2017 and ending June 30th, 2018. Whereas Section 1011.04 Florida statute requires that upon receipt of the certification of the property appraiser given the assessed valuation of the county and of each of the special tax school districts, the school board shall determine by resolution the amounts necessary to be raised for the current operating purpose and for the debt service funds and the millage to be levied for each such fund, including the voted millage, and whereas Section 1011.71 Florida statute provides for the amounts necessary to be raised for local capital improvement outlay and the millage to be levied, and whereas the certificate for the property appraiser has been received. Therefore, be it resolved by the District School Board that the amounts necessary to be raised as shown by the officially adopted budget and the millage necessary to be levied for each school fund of the district for the school year are as follows. District school tax, certified tax value, $11,140,000. Am I reading that right?
Billion.
11 billion? Is that right? Am I reading that right?
Come on, Ms. Condon.
Yes.
$11,149,208,791. Required local effort, $44,793,062. Millage levy, 4.1850. The prior period funding adjusted millage, $53,517.0050 mils. Total required millage, $44,846,579, and the millage levy is 4.1900. District school tax discretionary millage is, again, $11,149,208,791. Amount to be raised, $8,006,024. Millage levies, .7480 mils. And the rest is all blank, should it be?
You'll keep going.
Oh. All right, district capital improvement tax, certified taxable value, $11,149,208,791. Discretionary of levy local capital improvement amount to be raised, $16,054,891, a millage levy of 1.500.
61.
And the total millage rate to be levied is less than the rollback rate computed pursuant to Section 200.065, subsection 1, Florida statute by 0.47%. State of Florida, County of Clay, this is you, Addison, which you'll end up signing, but Mr. Davis, Superintendent of Schools and ex officio Secretary of the School District of the District School Board of Clay County, Florida, do hereby certify that the above is true and complete copy of the resolution passed and adopted by the District School Board of Clay County, Florida on September 18th, 2017. Goodness, that's a mouthful.
Whoa.
All right, the next item is the resolution 18-06, adopting the 2017-2018 final budget. I'll entertain a motion.
I move that the Clay County School Board approve resolution number 18-06, adopting the final proposed 17-18 budget.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Gilhousen, a second by Ms. Studdard. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. All right, and this resolution is resolution number 18-06, a resolution of the Clay County School Board adopting the final budget for fiscal year 2017-2018. Whereas the School Board of Clay County, Florida did pursuant to chapters 200 and 1011 Florida statute approve final millage rates and final budget for the fiscal year July 1, 2017 through June 30th, 2018. And whereas the Clay County School Board set forth the appropriations and revenue estimate for the budget for the fiscal year 2017 through 2018. Whereas at the public hearing and in full compliance with Chapter 200 Florida statute, the Clay County School Board adopted the final millage rate and the budget in the amount of $393,437,564 for fiscal year 2017-2018. Now therefore be it resolved that the attached budget of the Clay County School Board, including the millage rates as set forth therein, is hereby adopted by the School Board of Clay County as a final budget for the categories indicated for the fiscal year July 1, 2017 through June 30th, 2018. All right, our next item on the agenda is the proposed allocation changes.
Wait, aren't we gonna,
We need to vote.
we need to vote on number 8?
I thought we did.
Did we vote on number 8 already?
We voted on
We
both
voted
resolutions.
first and then I read it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I felt the same.
That's what I
Ms.
thought.
Bush, everybody
That's-
voted,
I-
right? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we got it all. So our next one is the proposed allocation changes for the 2017-2018 school year. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved? We
Second.
accept it, whatever.
I have a motion by Ms. Bola, a second by Ms. Gilhousen. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Are there any presentations from the audience? Would anybody like to address the board? All right, our next item is superintendent's request. Mr. Davis, is there anything you'd like to say?
No, ma'am. Thank you for moving forward with the allocation package. This allow us to continue to address the class size in our schools. And right now, we are in a solid position. We'll continue to work over the next couple of weeks as that window continues to open to determine whether or not schools are potentially could slip out of class size. But right now, we've got a solid handle Right now, elementary is at 16.22, junior high is at 18.91, and then high school is around 20.36. And that's from a K-3 average to a 4.8, and a 9.12. So we're working consistently to monitor that. We've done a fabulous job of making certain that we protect those classes that we need to protect in order to continue to have the best working environment for both our employees and our students as well. But we'll continue to monitor. Other than that, I appreciate each of you.
Thank you. Ms. Gilhausen, would you like to start with school board comments? Ms. Bola?
I just want to reiterate the fact that you said average, that it is not each individual classroom, and that the class size amendment was originally adopted by the public to make certain that the classes retained a smaller atmosphere for the students and for the teachers. And I wasn't in a classroom today, I was not in school today, but just having noticed a few of the comments on Facebook, I know that the teachers today probably felt like they were going back to the first day of school, and probably even worse because the kids all know each other, they knew their expectations, and I just wanted to do a shout out to, first of all of the people who manned our shelters in our community. I had the opportunity to go through and visit a few of them, and those positive attitudes, the ever-flowing coffee, the people who were there to help in any way, shape, and form and stepped up were awesome. And I couldn't applaud our staffs and everybody involved more. Today was rough, I'm certain, and I'm certain that the students went into it feeling like, yay, we're going back to something that's a little bit more normal than what we've done for the past week. And we get to see our friends and we get to experience life as we know it, that we want it to be. So a huge debt of gratitude to all of the teachers and all of the support staff, the bus drivers, the cafeteria employees, and 2 thumbs up for getting free meals for all of our students up through October. I know that there were questions about, do students have to say anything? And I just wanted to say, no, just walk through the line and the food will be there for you. So thank you for that as well.
I did have a couple questions about that, and you may not have the answers, and I know we meet again in a week, or so you can bring us, but I wonder, are we reimbursed for the cost of the running the shelters, and I'm sure the employees are paid that do the food
Yes, ma'am.
service, but like the principals
Yep.
who man them, do we do anything additional for them? Or?
Yes, ma'am, through the chair. As you know, a number of our schools were built in order to be identified as shelters per code. And as soon as those are needed through the EOC, Clay County's EOC, then we start to identify individuals to lead that work and to cover them. Those are administrators pretty much on site. Administrators are compensated for being there, and any employees compensated for being there. During this entire event, we have been capturing any time that any administrator, any cabinet support, maintenance, staff member has had time on task with working through this unfortunate time. We are capturing that information so that we can have a calculation to submit to FEMA in order to have all that money and through our equipment and time and efforts reimbursed back to us as a school district.
Thank you.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
I know you may not have a good answer for this one today, but I've already had it like
Yep.
4 times today. Do you know about making it up?
Yeah, so that's that's the biggest question. So we've done a number of reviews of our current data. Right now, our preliminary data says we're solid. We have sufficient time built in. As you know, the governor has 2 days in which he declared to shut down on Friday and on Monday. We did it prior to that. Nonetheless, I'm going to respectfully push and reach out to him and ask him to waive those 2 days. But even with the 2 days, I am right now in our preliminary information that we have that we will not need to add but we are sending the information for DOE to analyze and get them to get the work back to us. Many thanks to Ms. Paiva for sending me somewhat of a structure they used in the past for Matthew. We use that same formula to put all of our information in, especially because in K2 and it's 720 minutes, and the remainder is 720 hours, and then minutes would be really done, and then and then from third all the way to 12, it's 900 hours, and right now we are pretty solid, but we want to make sure we get the green light from DOE that says you're in a good spot, Addison. As an educator, I always want to find identified time that we can add and have more kids' time on task. But if we're good within our schedule, I think we will continue momentum right now as we relaunch and rebuild.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
And I would echo Ms. Bola's sentiments about just everyone in our district who really went above and beyond. And I'm sure we all saw the news reports of the teachers. I know SBJ was on the news, but I know a lot of our staff and teachers have reached out to those around them. I know that people lost everything. I know at least one principal lost everything she owns, and several. So just your heart just breaks for those families. But then material possessions become very dim when there is a loss of life. And down in the Keystone area, we had a student whose life was lost over the time period. And I would just ask that you keep that family, all the families involved, and the specifically the ROTC and band groups at the high school were most impacted. Those were the Friends. So if you could just keep those people in your prayers, we would appreciate it.
All right. Ms. Studdard?
I'm going to try to get my thoughts together. This has been probably the hardest week that we have all had here in Clay County in the years I've lived here, and from what I've read, it's been a long, long, long time before we've had this. It absolutely breaks my heart to know that some of our employees, including the principal, lost everything. Automobile, home, everything. It brings you to your knees when you complain because there's a tree down and limbs all over the place. But Saturday night, as we were watching the ball game with the Bama Club, I did get out. I had to get out of the house. A man was sitting across the table from us with a Gator shirt. Before that night was over, we were good friends. He had lost his vehicle, his house, everything. My girlfriend who was with me had major damage at their house, limbs through roof, ceiling, so forth, and limbs everywhere, and she was just about to lose it. And I looked at her and I said, God does act in mysterious ways. That man sitting across from you to show you that although you lost a lot, look what he has lost. I said, no matter how bad it gets, we don't have to look far to find someone a lot worse off than we are. I am so impressed with you, Mr. Davis, and the work that you got out and physically did. I saw on Facebook where you cleaned up the CCEA office and they took down trees or something. Trees, was it? I was amazed, and y'all call me a little honky sometimes, I guess, or too soapy. But let me tell you what, when the superintendent of schools gets out and physically takes down trees at the union office, I have always said that we are family here in Clay County, and by George, you personified that, and I was just amazed. And it was, the bands, I saw where, I think it was the Fleming Island football team went to a friend of mine's house who had lost they were in an island. They were on an island. But it's so many groups, and our employees stepped up to the plate. There's still people out helping and stepping up to the place. This is not something that we're going to get over in a week or two. This is ongoing. We went to Mentor today, and I'm looking at these kids thinking, you know what? That's what it's about. We're going to get it back on track. These kids are going to be fine. It's going to take us a while. I mean, I saw trees down out here. In this lot. I mean, everywhere I look, there's trees down. But I am so thankful that we pulled together. We are one Clay. We are family. And with that, I thank God.
All right, thank you. I have something to ask the board. Ms. Condon at our next meeting is not going to be here, and she will be on school board business in Washington DC. And it's past the 14 days, but it's still plenty within the 48 hours. I want to add an item to our agenda, giving her the authority to vote from, she's going to maybe Skype or Facebook or something in. We're going to get Jeremy to help. But I want to make sure that everybody's okay with me adding that item at the last minute so that Ms. Condon can vote and be a part of our next meeting. Okay.
That's a policy deviation. Our current policy says that you can attend electronically, but you
Right.
cannot vote, so,
Right.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and you're on school board business, but we do need to do a review, and I know that Mr. Davis is looking at bringing that to us, that every department's policies haven't been reviewed in probably 4 years now, so it is something we need to review. And so if everybody's okay with that, I'll get it to Ms. Bush, and she can add it to our agenda for next week, and then we'll get in touch with Jeremy and figure out how to put you in so that somebody can see you.
I will physically
Put a
be
monitor
at the
there.
agenda review.
I'll get something and hold it up here.
I'll just need to know to recognize her when she wants to talk, so somebody's going to have
I will physically be at the agenda review. I fly out that day
Oh, good.
for the National School Board.
Well,
You can just
thank
turn your laptop around.
Right?
All right.
May I say
on the
one more
screen.
thing?
Yes.
On a different note, I'm going to get in trouble if I don't do this. Tomorrow, James and I will be celebrating our 53rd anniversary.
Ah, cool.
So, and we made it. I think I'm going to keep it.
I won't ask you what he always says.
He always says 2 or 3 of those years were pretty good.
All right, and I'd like to echo what everybody has said here tonight. It has been very tragic, Mr. Davis. I just want to compliment you on keeping the board abreast of everything, keeping us updated, cutting down trees, and the donations that you have donated to the district. It's just very impressive, and you're part of the Clay County family now, and we're glad for it. I just also want to compliment our district, our staff, for taking care of the payroll. That really could have been a headache and a nightmare to a lot of people. And the fact that I know there were people who had to stay and work very late, we appreciate it. And Dr. Kemp's office, I know your people worked very, very hard, and we just thank every one of them. I know lots of hours were put in, and I know that you, Mr. Davis, Mr. McCauley, were out during the curfew, when you probably shouldn't have been.
He's right with us.
But we thank you for everything you did and for keeping us up to date on it, so I appreciate it. And with that, we are adjourned, unless there was anything else you wanted to add.
No, I'm good. I can speak on the 26th.
All right,
All
thank
right.
you.
We're good. Enjoy your night.
All right, meeting adjourned.